Hello everyone. As you can see, finally managed to drop that video. Was waiting for petal building a bit, still not working, and giving all the calculation that we need, but it helps at least with the trade. So here is the HollowPalm Chayula with volatility. All right, so first things first, let's go into the skill tree. All right, so with the skill tree, we are starting off with the following. Set of Nightmares, gonna be giving you leech based on chaos damage as well as physical damage. I will reserve my comments for the changes. I think it's awful. I'm gonna leave it at that. But at least this time, as we are getting those volatility stacks, essentially you'll be getting that extra chaos damage, and you can use these to leech either energy shield, life, or mana. Energy shield is difficult. This is because you can really do it with two uniques. I more recommend it if you're gonna be going for the water stuff build instead of the HollowPalm unarmed, to go for energy shield leech, because you can get it on gloves, because we are gonna be using a different type of gloves for us, so we can't have bot, unfortunately. On the other hand, mana leech is something that we're gonna be doing a lot of in this build. Then Chayula's gift, in my opinion, this is the best node in the whole ascendancy currently, and that just shows you how terrible the vision is this time around with the fixes. But yeah, still enough to get it. Saves you a lot of stats on gears. Then we are going to go with Inner Turmoil. That's going to give us volatility on inflicting elemental ailments and taking no damage from volatility. Also here is 10% chance to gain volatility and heal. And then we have chaos damage increase node connecting to Unraveling, which is switching every 2 seconds, and all the chaos damage that you are doing is either going to be contributing to freeze, ignite, or shock chance, so that you can proc those ailments with your chaos damage that you need to do by stacking volatility. And in order to stack the volatility, you need to do all kinds of stuff. All right, so we're gonna get into it. When it comes to the opening, we are pretty much following the same stuff that we did before. What we want to do is stack as much as evasion possible and energy shield. Okay, so that's why we're going for these nodes. We're gonna be basing on critical hits, because criticals are gonna be helping us to get that volatility. Attack damage is also focus for us. The more attack damage, obviously, the better, because we can buff all types of damage by taking this one instead of just physical, elemental, or chaos, and etc. And here is the HollowPalm, so we need to branch out and get it. Then we are going still with Resonance. This is to generate power charges for our charge stuff. Then we're going to Chakra of Thought. Okay, this ability is gonna be essentially giving us 15% increased attack speed while not on low mana. This is very good. Okay, and I can tell you that, and you will see from the videos, we're just, simply never on low mana, except for certain situations when it happens for a second, right? But that doesn't matter. And then 8% of damage is taken from mana before life, but there is 2 connecting nodes to it, which is another 8%, which is taking it to 16% total. Okay, now if you want to get extra, you can get another 16% over here, as well as 15 intelligence. So these two together will essentially give you 32%. Okay, 32% damage taken from mana before it's being taken from your life. So it's very, very nice, effective hit pull defensive layer, especially if you get both of these. Okay, I think I'm gonna be taking these 3 as I'm gaining more levels. Currently I'm at level 90, as you can see over here. So still going with the spectral ward. Now before I go into this area, let's go over here, taking over here attack damage, like I mentioned earlier, and then subterfuge mask. Now, before I didn't used to go and get it, But this time I wanted to do it because, first of all, I can connect to harness the elements. It's very close. And since we're going to be using Ice Strike, this is also very nice because connecting from this side is going to be increasing the freeze buildup. Instead of connecting from this side or connecting from this side, it's different types of damage. Okay. So this one is very important for us in order to get that evasion from our helmet, because our helmet will not be giving us any evasion itself. We are going for an energy shield, and I'm gonna go into items a little bit later. Then again, critical over here. Technically speaking, you can kind of like forgo going here, but I don't recommend it just because it's a jewel slot, right? So it kind of like seems empty, right? But if you get this here, maybe if you go over here, this too, this is very nice, right? That we can ignore the elemental resistance on frozen enemies, or increase damage with hits. You know, you can make some nice things. You know, it's just 3 nodes here, and it's going to give you a whole lot of damage, all right? And also freeze buildup. So that's also something that I'm going to be very likely taking. So that's 3 and 3, that's 6, and then I'm going to be left with 4 more to decide where to put. Which is most likely going to be over here on Volatility. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and that would be level 100, okay, if you're crazy enough to play till level 100. But this league, I think I am. And it's going to be the first league that I'm hitting 100. Okay, so to continue, cold damage penetration. We are not invokers, so we cannot penetrate crits, so we need to do it this way. But also 20% increased chance to inflict ailments against enemies with exposure. So we're gonna be applying exposure to our charged stuff, okay, both cold and lightning exposure, because sure, we are doing Ice Strike, but we're gonna be doing a lot of lightning damage too. Then we are over here having this nice stuff for the critical. This can also be interesting, okay? This can also be interesting. It's connecting with daze, it's connecting with lightning damage and with the cold damage. But again, I don't think it's worth compared to the other stuff that you can get. At the end of the day, you're limited with how much you can invest in this. Then, like I mentioned over here, we are going into Mana Leech, and this one allows us to get Mana Leech based on elemental damage instead of physical damage, because we're barely doing physical damage. This one is very, very good, and essentially it's kind of like a little bit nerfed old Ascendancy node, but still very nice, and I'm just used to it. And you know, with the amount of attack speed that we are having, you will really need it, because if I go and just like, you know, stand in space and keep hitting, it ends very, very quickly. Or I mean, with the Stone Weave, it's going even faster out, okay? And that's something that you're gonna need for clearing big abyssal hordes, let's put it that way. So over here again, critical, getting all the critical nodes except for this one. I didn't take this one because again, it's just about petting thing, right? And you can see that we are pretty much everywhere at the level 90 or everywhere at the end of the branch, right? So there, you know, it's just optimizing things and not wasting the petting nodes. Then over here went for evasion with bestial skin, which is giving you another 100% evasion rating from equipped body armor. Alternatively, what also can be done is take these 3 over here, like to connect it through here. But I don't know if I would connect it through here. I would probably like to rather connect it through here, you know? So you're getting 3, 6, and then another 5%. So that's 11% deflection rating. Pardon me. You're gaining a deflection rating based on 11% of your evasion rating. This can be also a nice layer, and then on top of that, 20% increased evasion, because, you know, this is 30, And then over here is going to give you 50%, but this is going to give you, 36, but then again, you get more deflection rating. I need to take it to check it how it's good, but keep in mind that this is something that you might want to opt in for. And then, of course, since we're running 2 heralds, we are getting cold and lightning over here to get that whooping big buff to cold and lightning damage, and also, 24% over here while affected by herald, which we are. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the tree. All right. Now, before I close this off, let's look at the jewels. Over here, classic jewel giving you lightning damage. This was while I was still using Tempest Warrior, okay? So probably want to change it to cold damage. But there is another thing that I want to show you that might be even better, okay? Over here, have pretty much the same thing, but without any type of specific damage. And clearing maps is not an issue, right? So that's why I'm getting these, hits against rare and unique enemies. You're just gonna be doing more damage to them. And over here, as you can see, with increased elemental damage, so it's buffing both cold and lightning. Also crit, attack speed. This is the stuff that we want, okay? Pretty much usual stuff. But here's the thing, okay? Now, I hope that you can see it. I will zoom it in, all right? This is something that I'm right now grinding the currency for. Okay. Let me move my camera. Okay. And as you can see, this is something that I'm looking to get. So I don't need to spend fire slot on the ring. I'm thinking to get it from here. And this is the new jewel that you have. 1 rage on melee hit. I'm planning to get it from here instead of putting it on the gloves, because you can get 8% 8% attack speed talisman on gloves. I think that's a new one also. And crit damage bonus. It's difficult to get crit damage bonus compared to before. It's pretty much nerfed across the border in the game, and just a nice place to get it from. Critical damage bonus, critical hit chance, up to you, whatever you want. Might be, in some cases better one or the other, okay? But you can play with them. There is a lot of very, very nice and interesting things. So it's Heart of the Well Diamond. This is something you can look, and you can get yourself by killing Rogue Exile next to the Abyssal area, okay? And then this guy's gonna respawn as essentially Legionborn Rogue Exile. Let me just get my AC out. It's getting cold over here. So back to Path of Exile. So that's again pretty much it. Probably one more is gonna be changed for Megalomaniac. And we're gonna put the 2 nodes that we want the most. So we are speaking about Harness the Elements is amazing, right? But then again, you have Stormbreaker, which is quite nice, and you have Storm Charge, which you can put as a forgot what's the name for it, the allocation, yeah, for your amulet. Okay, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Storm Charge over here because it's the easiest to get, and then once you get the good Megalomaniac, once I farm the currency, replace one of the jewels with that. Probably that and Serrated Edges. Did I type this correctly? Yeah, I did. All right. Which is again giving you 30% increased attack damage against rare and unique enemies, and another 10% critical hit chance for attacks. Okay, so that's essentially the idea, and this is also a thing about volatility. That's why I left it for the last part. So here we are getting another 5% chance to gain volatility on kill. With volatility on kill from your ascendancy node over here, that's 15% already. And then you're having over here 30% volatility explosion delay, which means that you don't need to wait full 4 seconds before your volatility explodes. But this is the important part, right? Volatility power also grants 1% critical hit chance per volatility exploded, okay? So essentially getting 100 stacks or 200 stacks is gonna be either increasing your critical hit chance by 100 or 200% or any number, right, that you pop. So the more stacks you have, the better. Essentially, the funny way that it works is because we're going to be getting a lot of volatility by doing critical hits with our skills. One will feed into another, right? So the more volatility the more crits you do, the more volatility you will get. The more enemies you kill, the more volatility you will get, okay? And then the more of them you have, when it comes to the stacks, the volatility stacks, of course, you will do more damage and chaos damage. You will be able to leech from it, right? And the third thing, and the most important thing, to keep it going, right? You will have ability to do so, and it's done by this way, because you're gonna crit more often, get even more volatility, and it's a cycle. This goes on. That's why I want to get this also. I want to say that like using catharsis, which I'm gonna go into when we get into the skills themselves and the gems. I'm not sure that it works together with this one. That's why I didn't take it, but I did limited testing on it. But anyways, you kind of want to get it and then I guess not use catharsis, just wait it out, let it pop, because there is 25% chance that let's say you get 50 stacks of volatility, right? And you wait out 3 seconds and it explodes. Okay, and now you have 50 stacks for 10 seconds. Your critical hit chance is increased by 50%. Your damage is increased by 50% as extra chaos damage. Okay, and it's nice, right? But then let's say you triggered this one with a 25% chance, 1 in 4 explosions, right? Now we have another 50 stacks, okay? And it blows up again, you're at 100, okay? So obviously, once it blows up, you're gonna continue hitting. You get the idea, right? So it can help you maintain them, right? And get to some very, very nice numbers. So yeah, the tech that I posted in the video before the league got released has been deleted from the game. So no more shenanigans with that. Using Mana Tempest to generate volatility, then go and smack a boss with that 200% increase. So that's why I said at the start of the video, it has been nerfed. Okay, so that's pretty much about it when it comes to the skill tree. Now, moving on to before we go there, as you probably all know, HollowPalm is gonna be giving you more attack speed per evasion on equipped armor items and more critical hit chance, flat critical hit chance per 10% item energy shield on equipped armor items. That's why on your items, as you can see, we are going full energy shield on helmet. We are getting full evasion body armor. We are getting a mix of evasion energy shield on the boots. And the last piece is going to be Thunder Fist. Okay, this is the new expensive gloves, and they essentially give you this is mid rolls. Okay, it's not the best. You can get much better stuff. For example, 1.1, that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna be aiming for that, and more lightning damage and yada yada yada. But the bottom line is that they give you Crackling Palm, okay, which is kind of like a spirit skill, but it's not. And essentially, what it does is, think of it, every time you hit, okay, and you do an attack, a bolt comes from the sky and hits it. It's kind of like Herald of Thunder that you have at all the time, all right, for each hit. So it's just an extra DPS. Now, skills, all right. As you can see, first of all, I put Catharsis over here. Probably this one's gonna be removed. Now, the reason why I put Catharsis, okay, it's essentially requires you to have 20 volatility in order to be used, okay? But what it does is that you don't need to wait for that timer to calm down 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, boom, now you have the damage and the crit. No, you can manually do it, all right? But it's a random amount, okay? So if you have, let's say, 50 stacks and you pop it once and it takes 20, it will keep still 30, okay? But you will get buff of the 20. Keep that in mind. And you can just, simply put it on quarterstaff strike. Well, technically, it would be just a strike since we are not wearing a quarterstaff, but yeah. And that's why you can use it right now, see? But if I had 20 volatility stacks, I press E over here, which is my keybind, and buff, I manually pop volatility, and now I have a damage buff. So quite nice that you have it over there, and you don't need to put it on some other skill and waste the skill gem and stuff like that. This is when I found this out, I was like, yeah, finally. So crackling palm. All right, now with the crackling palm, what we're gonna be doing, different people do different things. Okay, I'm quite happy with this. Lightning attunement for extra lightning damage, increased AoE, okay, a magnified area, living lightning. This is very nice one, okay. Basically creates a bunch of minions that keep attacking things for you, okay. Not that crazy of a damage, but it can trigger the bell, okay. So when you're doing the boss and you have the living lightning, they're gonna be, triggering the bell for you sometimes if you don't trigger it, okay. So which is quite nice. And then lightning resistance penetration, might remove it. I have a lot of pen gems and I need to change some stuff. Like I said, guys, this is not the final version, okay. This is something that takes much more work. Up until 5 hours ago, I was using Tempest Flurry. Then I switched to the Ice Strike, and I was like, holy shit, this is much better for volatility generation and stuff. And I started off leveling with Ice Strike. Then I moved on to Tempest Flurry, then back to Ice Strike. So, Ice Strike, cold attunement. Okay, we are speaking about 25% of damage as extra cold damage. Okay, elemental armament, another 25% more elemental damage, attack speed, volatility and crit, like I mentioned earlier, and close combat because you are linking to targets and attacking them. Now, my cat is here again. Say hello, Nova. You don't want to say hello. Okay, so as you can see over here, 40% critical hit chance that we have now, and that can go, much higher with better items, but this is it for now. I'm probably hoping to have around 50, and I'm looking to go up to 10 attacks per second. I don't know if it's gonna be possible, but we will see. But yeah, still very, very fast attack speed. Yeah. So yeah, this is basically the idea of it. Stormweave, again, volatility and crit. Very nice thing that we can slot few different, the same support skill gems into, different slots. This is used multiple, very nice. Branching fissures, okay? It's better than upheaval because essentially as you hit, it's gonna be branching, all right? And those branches are the ones that are doing less damage, okay? Not the stone wave itself. So you don't lose DPS. See, you don't lose DPS by putting it like you do with upheaval, okay? So as you can see, maybe to go over here, more open area. So you see those branches, how they're coming out over there. So those are gonna be doing less damage, but the main one, the mid one, that's going to be doing the full damage, all right? But it's very nice for Abyssal. And why it's nice for Abyssal is because Abyssal's completely okay? And why? It's because, it destroys the FPS, simply. It's completely not optimized. My processor is like 5.4 gigahertz on 24 cores, 4080, and simply it's just running it at like 30 FPS or something, So, pain in the ass, let's put it that way. But yeah, that's why you just stay from outside and you sit it as you're gonna be seeing in the video. Now, here's the deal, okay? Back to the skills. Tempest Bell, this is for bossing, right? As you know, same old stack, dropping the bell, overabundance, so we can drop one bell, keep generating combos for the other one. We don't need to wait, right, for the first bell to expire. Then we have durability. We can hit it 2 more times. And the new change to the bell is that essentially right now you're going to be doing more damage. Is it shown here? Yeah. As you can see, Shockwave deals 3% more damage per hit taken by bell, right? So the more hits we can do, the more damage it's going to deal, right? Magnified area. Actually might change this one. I forgot to do it. I'm gonna do it to concentrated area. And then we have close combat, okay, which is again going together with the magnified area, right? This is a mistake. We need to change this, all right? Shattering Palm, all right, very good as an opener, especially in the areas where there is a lot of enemies. Abyssal. But be careful with Abyssal because it's gonna lag you out. So with the magnified area, those shards, okay, what they're gonna be doing, they're gonna be essentially putting, more enemies under their effect, right? So the explosions are gonna be bigger. Freeze buildup, because we want to freeze things, might think of changing this. I need to do more testing because this is the first time I'm actually using Shattering Palm. Then we have Ice Bite. When we kill with Shattering Palm or its explosions, we're gonna get that buff to the cold damage and cold damage penetration. Then Double Heralds with classic stuff, just going for full attunement, cold penetration, biting frost, so everything cold plus overrage, which is gonna give you a bigger AoE on it. Hand of Chayula mainly used for bossing. This is gonna allow us to get the charge stuff going on bosses because it's gonna give that power charge to us, so you don't need to run Electrocute if you're going Tempest Flurry, or you don't need to freeze a boss because it takes the time. This is just gonna mark and poop. The first hit you do, you get a power charge, and it does a little bit more damage to it. Elemental weakness also might lot this out, but they need to do some testing. Okay, cursed ground and heightened cursed, obviously for those curses that we apply to be stronger. All right, then charge stuff. As you know, charge stuff full lightning damage, so we are pointing innervate to get extra lightning damage gain when we kill a shocked enemy with charge stuff. Prolonged duration, so we can keep it for longer. Exposure, once we shock an enemy with charge stuff, they get exposed, taking reducing their elemental resistance to that particular element. As you can see, then we're having volatility. Okay, again, because you're gonna be next to the target hitting with Ice Strike, but charge stuff shockwaves are gonna be flying with every single hit. This allows you to get basically double volatility, all right? Because your charge stuff shockwaves can crit also, so it works very nicely together. And then also cold exposure, right? Because sometimes you're not gonna shock a target, but you're gonna crit a target, and since we do have cold damage on our shockwave, as you can see, that can crit also and give that exposure. Okay, exposure is very strong. Combat Frenzy, getting that additional charges, and then Herald of Thunder, light attunement, lightning penetration, bigger AoE, and more elemental damage. So that's it when it comes to the skill gems. Probably gonna get Spirit down the line. Okay. Most likely over here on the amulet, and with that Spirit, I'm probably gonna take a Spirit gem or something, but I will make an updated build regarding that. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the build. Hope you guys enjoyed everything that I shown you so far, and that you're finding it good for you also. make sure to drop a sub, make sure to like it, join the Discord. There is gonna be a lot of discussion over there. We want to build a community, especially for Chayula. So I'm gonna try to be as much as active these days compared to before. I really hated 0.2 league, but this one I'm fancying quite a lot. And yeah, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, hope to see you in comments, hope to see you on Discord, and stay tuned for more. All right, have a good one.